Okay, hey guys, just wanted to put together a quick video for you guys now that we're in the middle of COVID-19 and this whole pandemic thing. It's more important than ever to make sure that we have a website, especially if you want to receive funds through online giving. What I wanted to do is just show you how quick and easy it is to put together a website on Squarespace, even if it's just one page for your church, to get some basic information out there and also have a link to an online giving platform. So with this video, I just want to show you just really quickly the pricing structure that Squarespace has, the domain, how you could buy a domain through Squarespace if you don't have a church website already. And then also just build a quick one-page website just so you guys get an idea for what's really involved with it. It's really not that big of a, not that hard of something to do. You can really do it on your own. I'm going to do it here. I'm going to try to get it done as quick as I can, as bare bones as I can. So there'll be times I most likely will fight with my OCD as far as trying to make something look better or tweaking something a little bit. I'm just going to try to let it go. Right now, we're just looking on getting a website up and running, so that you have online giving. People can find your information, and you could even link in a Facebook Live or something like that for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and look over to our screen here, and we'll get going as to what we're looking at. So here we just have the Squarespace home page. In case you can't read this up here or you don't see that, they're offering 20% off any new website plan through April 9th. It's a great deal. They're already pretty cheap, but if you get it in there, I would definitely take a look at it. So like I said, we're going to look at pricing here real quick. There's going to be two main website plans that I would suggest for a church. If we're looking at something just very simple, quick, and we're just doing this so we have online giving, I'd be looking at this personal giving plan right here. If you're looking at something a little bit more fuller, a little bit more robust of a website, you'd be looking at this business plan. And so these prices are per year, so you would be paying $12 a month every month, so for 12 months. So for $144 annual payment, you'll get a website. Or for business, $18 times 12, that same amount of time, was it like $176 or something like that. You can also pay monthly, where you can choose to pay just every month on the whatever date you choose, $16 a month or $26 a month. Another thing to take into account is your domain name. I'll get to that in a second. But so you see with a personal website, get you pretty much everything that you need. Where you start dropping off is you don't have a Gmail integration like you would with what do they call this plan? A business plan. And with the business plan, you also get some e-commerce interactions here. What that means is, if you're looking to sell anything on your website, it gives you the platform to do so. So say you have some merchandise, you like selling some like hats with your church logo or shirts or something like that. It gives you the ability to do so through the website. Not really a huge thing to look for or to need really, for most of the churches that are looking to do this. Again, and the other nice thing about the business plan is you can have unlimited amount of contributors, meaning you can have as many people as you want on your website, adjusting it and fixing it. This makes it really nice if you have like a youth pastor who wants to keep updating his youth pages, or a group pastor or a community pastor who's really updating community events and group events, that sort of thing. Is really nice. But again, we're just looking at bare bones. Just let's get this up on the website, get this up on the internet and get it going. So if that's you, if you don't have a website, you just want to get something up and going, feel free to go with this personal $12 a month plan. If you have any aspirations of going to the next plan up, if you want to just get one website out and going right now, but you really want to build and develop it later on, go ahead, go with the business plan. It's $18 a month. For $6 more a month, you're going to get a ton more out of it. But again, that's up to you. And like I said, the last thing that we need to talk about here is our domain name. Now, domain is the website names, the URL, the firstbaptistchurch.com or that sort of thing. If you don't have a website, you need a domain name. And the nice thing about Squarespace is you can find a domain name and it's a year-to-year renewal. What that means is when you pay that bill every year for your church website, so that $12 a month billed over the full year for $144, you'll also get a renewal fee for your domain name, which is nice because most of the domain names are about $20 a year. You could go outside and buy a domain name through like GoDaddy or some other domain purchasing website. With that, though, you're going to have term length for the purchases. You're going to have to keep an eye out on, and you're also going to have to do a lot of communication back and forth between Squarespace and the domain name provider. It's easy to just have it all in one. It makes it work really well. So here we go, looking over here. Claim your domain. The church I am coming up with first community church Sydney. Oh, it'd help if I could spell. Alright, so I could type this all out in one word and have a website there. Things to look for a domain name is you want it to be as short as possible while also telling you what exactly it is. So because you're going to be presenting it all the time, you're going to be telling people about it, you don't want to have to say First Community Church in Sydney.org or something like that. Let's try First CC. FirstCCSydney.org is available. It's not the best. What about FCC Sydney? We got that. That would work. So here you see just multiple examples of .org. Let's do .church. Make it fancy. .church is available. Some of the fancier endings are going to be a little bit more per year. So a simple .org would do us good. Not going to purchase it right now, but FCCSydney.org, $20 a year. That's manageable. It's doable. It's good for us, right? So here we go. We're going to get up here in the Get Started tab. Now, for some of you, it might take you through a few questions as far as what you're looking to do with your website. Here I'm logged in with my Anthro account, so it doesn't quite give me that, but it'll bring up some, like, what are you looking to do? Are you looking to build a community, to promote a business, blah, 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 blah. You can click through that, or you can just hit skip, and it'll bring you back to all this stuff here. And what this is these are just themes, some things to look at as far as someone's gone through and designed these. And these are pretty like ready to go, if you would. You could always preview, click in here, and you can scroll through what it looks like here, just like that. It shows you the different views, so you can click on like a phone. This is what it's going to look like, blah, blah, blah. One thing to take into account with these themes is some of them allow for more design editing and others not so much. For right now, that doesn't really matter for us. We're just looking for something that looks good the way it is, and we will just replace the stuff in it with our information and our pictures, and just let it go. Whereas if you're looking for a more custom, a more designed website, we might choose a different theme, but for now, just find one that looks the best for you at this point in time. I would suggest something with a pretty good, pretty image base, just to get like attention. Throw a big picture at the beginning of it or something like that, but also have some good textual elements to it. Like in here, there's still a fairly decent amount of text that you can work with. You want to be able to catch attention, but you also want to be able to present information, especially because we're doing a one-page website. We want to get as much information on there as possible, but we also want to keep it as visually engaging as we can. So I'm just going to go with this one right here, the Kalima. I don't know what that is, but again, so we're just going to be looking at this. Bear with me. I might try to get too OCD when it comes to designing and tweaking things. I'm going to try to stop myself as quickly as possible, but we'll see how it goes. So my Squarespace site, this is the title of it. We're going to call it First Community Church Sydney. In case you're wondering, Sydney is not, we're not talking about Sydney, Australia. That's a shout out to my family in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Exploring, yeah, start with those. Fine, we're just going to skip all that. All right, here we go. I don't close that. Okay. All right, so your main navigation for what we're looking to do, editing our pages and whatnot, is ironically going to be this pages. Click on that. So all these pages over here are going to coincide with these across the top. So if you want to edit whatever page it is, you click on it, and it'll bring your screen here to the About page, and it'll bring all this stuff up here. Fairly simple, and if you want to go back home, most of the themes will link the site name up here with a home page where you'll have all this. Okay, so what we need to do from the beginning here is we just need to empty most of this out here. Like I said, we're gonna make this a one-page website, and what that means is all the information about what we want to get out is going to be on one page. So instead of clicking multiple pages over, you can just scroll down and find all the information that you need. Okay. All right, so navigation is completely empty. Here's the not linked, which is home, which is linked to the First Community Church Sydney title and also book a class. So home is what we're going to be working on here. So edit, top left, and it'll let you bring up edit. Another cool thing to look at before we get going is this up here. You're going to be able to preview it in the mobile or desktop just by clicking on that. So always taking into account what it's going to look like on a phone. A lot of the websites, a lot of what people do searching online for is going to be through a mobile device. So taking into account what it looks like on the mobile, just so you can make sure you can read all the information correctly, and everything's presented well. Anyways, let's go in here. We're going to edit this picture. So we're going to change the background. We're going to replace it with something I've already downloaded on my desktop. When creating a website, if you don't have pictures of your website, there's a great resource while that loads called unsplash.com. It's going to be, unsplash.com. It's a free stock photos. It's a community of photographers who just post a bunch of really great pictures that anyone could use for free. They allow you to embed a thanks or to show or give the photographer some credit for it. And Squarespace is linked to Unsplash too, which makes it really nice. The one thing that I would suggest or I would warn you about with stock photos is whatever people see on your website is what they expect of your church. Now, people are really good at seeing a stock photo and understanding that that is a stock photo, but other times they're a little bit more difficult to understand. Like this church, if I saw this picture of a church on some random church website, I wouldn't think of it as a stock photo. I would expect to see this church when I drive up on Sunday morning. And if this wasn't it, I'd be really confused. I'd think I'm at the wrong church. If you use pictures of people, make sure that they look a lot like the people in the church. If you're an older congregation, don't put pictures of a thriving a thriving college-age population within your church. That's because then people are going to be expecting that to come in, and when they don't see that, they're going to feel kind of lied to and be a little bit mistrusting of any information that you put forward from there. So just when you're using a stock photo, be very careful. Use them strategically. And what I suggest is you're going to need pictures for your website. So use some stock photos, but as quickly as you can, start replacing them with pictures of people in your congregation. Even if they're not super great pictures, just start taking pictures of your women's group, of your sanctuary, of your worship team, all sorts of that stuff. And that'd really help to make your website present yourself as true as possible. Anyways, so here's this picture of this church at an intersection. We're going to go ahead and claim that as our church now. So here you have overlay opacity, which it'll darken the picture or lighten it, just so you can read off of the screen these words a little bit better. Luckily, this picture works fairly well, and we don't really have to worry too much about the reading of it. So instead of taking care of your mind, body, and soul, let's go with join us at 10 a.m. via Facebook Live. Again, it's just a time of, this is what it is now that we are all meeting online. And let's see, click here to join click here to like our Facebook page. Again, this would be something that you'd want to put up here, especially now with churches not meeting and all of our services being posted online via live stream or otherwise. It'd be important to get them to go to said Facebook page or whatnot. Okay, so as I go here, I went a little bit fast. Anyway, so when we're putting information in, you're going to get this heading up here. It's going to work fairly similar to any sort of word processing that you've used. So Microsoft Word, Pages, anything like that. It's going to really work very similar to that. With your themes, they're going to give you these headings, and each one is going to be a little bit different. So let's go, if we do a large heading, it's going to change what it looks like, a large paragraph. It's going to change the font, it's going to change the size. And the thing with themes is they've already been gone through, they've already prioritized different headings, different levels. They've given each one its own size, its own boldness. They've taken the time to make it look good. So you don't really need to tinker with it all that much if you're just trying to get information out. Now, if you're like me and you like to mess with fonts and you want to find just the right font, there's ways to do that. But for right now, we're just getting it on the screen so you have something to go with. Okay, so join us at 10 a.m. via Facebook Live, and then we're going to click here to like our Facebook page. And now what we want to do is we want to link this Facebook page with the outside link. It's really simple. You're just going to want to highlight it, come up here, and you see this little like chain link thing. It's going to look similar to if you try to link anything in an email or anything like that. You're going to click it, and it's going to come up here, and you can either put it outside website, or you can link it to another page within your website. But right now we don't have anything, and we're not looking to do that anyways. You could also do an email. You can click here to email someone, sort of a thing. Anyways, we're going to close that, and we're just going to go Facebook. I cannot type today. Facebook.com, and we're going to apply it. Just like that, it'll link to Facebook, and you test out just by clicking on it. We're going to get rid of this book of class because we're not doing any classes. Fairly simple. All right. All right. So now we're going to save this. We're good with that. All right. Save up here. All right. Now it's saved. Well, we're going to have to mess with that because that does not look readable at all. Let's go in here and edit. We're going to go ahead. Don't move that. going to, let's see if we make a large paragraph. There we go. We'll see what that looks like. Save. All right, it's a little bit better. Not perfect, but we'll go with it. And we'll switch over to mobile view, just see what it looks like. Perfectly readable there. All right. Next step, we're gonna go with let's make this like a about us section, or meet our pastor. We're going to get rid of this image here. Get rid of this image here. We don't need that button. All right. What I want to do is, you see these little oblong circular things here. We're going to click on that, and what that does is it brings up elements to add, or content blocks. So we're going to add an image here. Image. I already searched up a picture of our pastor here at First Community Church, Sydney. Just going to be adding it in here. All right. Now you're going to look at design. It's going to give you a few different elements to do. If you want to stretch it, if you want to have a caption in it at all. I in fact don't like captions all that much. What if we just put in there? Okay, animations. So animation is going to be how it enters the page. So as you scroll to it, let's go ahead and do a we'll just slide it. It'll slide up like that. What about, I don't know what this is. We're going to slide up. That'll be simple. Okay, content, design, okay, animations. Okay, meet our pastor. We're going to slide this box right here. Come on. Get rid of that spacer. All right. We love our pastor, but we don't want him to be quite as large on their screen here. I'm going to click and drag this to the side. Ooh, there we go. All right. Throw a spacer to get it down a little bit. All right. I just did a lot there, and now I'm realizing I didn't explain it at all to you guys. Essentially, let's go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, we're going to move this guy. He's going to be back in the center of our page. Oh, no, it's not going to work. Of course. All right, so say we have all this information here, and we want to present it. Well, I want the picture on the left-hand side, and I want what we're going to say about him on the right-hand side. Just to go with the flow here. So what I want to do is, most of these content blocks, if you click on the title of them, you're going to be able to move them around. Ooh, I'm scrolling all over the place. Stop. Okay, as well as with the text, you can move that where you would like it to go as well. I'm going to see if I can't add a block here. Space. There we go. Now we're going to get rid of this space. What does this do? Okay, brings that up. So if you don't like an element, you just hit the trash can and it's good to go, and it'll go away. Now say we have a weird spacing here. We want to get this more in line with the picture. We're going to go up to this content block, and we're going to click on spacer. Now these are really nice because you can make them as big as you want or as small as you want, and it'll just kind of help you align what you're looking to go with. We're going to try to get that as close to the top of the picture as we can. All right, so what are we going to say? what's his name? Say Joshua. Joshua Pastor is his name. Josh is a graduate from Canada. We're going to make him smart. Trinity Evangelical Can I not type at all? Holy cow. Divinity School. Blah, blah, blah. Josh loves people and the Maple Leafs. All right, so that's your basic information about Josh. Now, what other information could we use here? We're going to have our address line here at the bottom, so we're not going to worry too much about physical location in one of these spots. What I am going to do, we're going to get rid of this altogether here. Yeah. And then we're going to go into this, and I'm going to show you how to use a form so that we understand what we're doing here. So it's a new storage, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to actually just get rid of this, and we're going to add one all our own. All right, so we're going to click here. Just like you're going to add any other content, just going to bring up all this other information in here. What we want to do is we want to add a form. Now, what do we want to name our form? Let's do prayer request, because that might be something that you'd be interested in doing. So we're going to have a name element here. We're going to have an email, subject, and you could change all this. So say you want to add a phone number so that you can call them by the phone if you want. Okay, we're going to do a, I'm trying to see if they have one already in here. Oh yeah, right there, phone. So you can do phone, and then you can drag, say we want to bring that up to right before email. We can say show country code or not, or we could require it. So if anyone's sending information, they have to put that in there. And you could do that with anything else. So as you edit something, you can require it. You can put a placeholder just to say email at bob.com. Okay. We're going to save that. And so you'll see that that should all show up there. Now, a cool thing with the forms in Squarespace is they've integrated in with MailChimp, and also with, if you have done your Google or your Google email addresses, it goes through there. And you could also just have everything sent to an email. So right now it's sending it to my personal email, or I could connect it to a MailChimp, or if I went to, I could connect it to a Google Drive, and it'll automatically create a Google Sheet for you, and it'll keep all that information in there. And you can have multiple of these checked, so it can send you an email and also throw it into a Google Sheet, so you have that information for later, and you also have it right there in front of you. This is also really nice when you go to do like a newsletter. If you want to send an email out to your congregants, you could do something like this. Let's go ahead and change it from prayer requests to newsletter. So we don't need a phone number for a newsletter. We don't need a subject line. We don't need a message, really. It could look something just like this, where let's go ahead and put a title to it here. Help if I'm actually typing in there. I'm gonna do a medium heading. Sign up for our newsletter. Now with that, it's going to show the form and a submit button, and you'll be good to go. So we're going to save that. All right, so now let's go and look at our changes that we've made so far. What am I at? 30 minutes on the dot. Okay, and we're almost done. That's great. So we have our church, our pastor, sign up for our newsletter. Now let's see what it looks like over here on a mobile device. All right. Good. Oh, we need to change the picture behind our sign up. That'll be okay. So let's go ahead and go do that. To do that, here we're going to go back and edit. And we're going to click on this little pencil thing background. I don't have a good picture for this. Let's go ahead and replace it. Let's go ahead and look. Let's look at like newsletters. You can be really cheesy with this and go with. I really want to use that, but that's a vertical one. Looking for something more horizontal. The amount of COVID and Corona updates on the typewriter is a little ridiculous. Let's do newspaper. Again, I'm looking for something more horizontal so it stretches across our screen. Oh, yeah, let's go this. Let's do landscape. Come on. Let's do this. This is simple enough. Oh, let me throw this into my desktop real quick. Okay. All right, now we're going to replace it with a stack of newspapers here. Again, there's tons of stuff that you could do here to play around with. You can mess with just the background with, so either a full bleed or an inset, full bleed means it's going to go all the way from edge to edge. Inset's going to be something a little bit more bordered in the page, and you can change the colors, the format, all this stuff is editable, but for right now we're just getting something going. All right, look at that. That looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and so we're going to scroll down here. Everything looks fine. We can read everything. All right, we're good. We're going to save that. Okay. Okay, and what we want to do here is, now we want to mess with this book of class. And what we're going to do there is we're going to edit this here. I want to make this our give. So instead of book, I'm going to say give. Navigation tile, this is just going to change what it looks like in the side there, and the URL is going to be give. Okay, save. Okay, so now we're going to look up in here. This is actually not what I want to do. All right, so this button up here, what we want to do is it's going to say give. URL can be give. Actually, doesn't need a URL because it's not getting in our own. So what we need to do here is this would be where you would put your planning center giving information, your link that they give you through their giving. And so what that would look like is, I forgot what the actual planning center, what's their slide or URL? Planning.center, I knew that. So planning.center, just so you get an idea here, we're just going to make that button give. There's going to be no other really links to it. That's going to be it. Let's see if we can't get it to stand out a little bit more. It doesn't look like we could do that easily right here. Style. Full, no. All right, I'm gonna stop messing with it. All right. So what this will look like is when you're going to the website, you'll have it up there. You click give. No, I'm done. I'm saving. Come on. You'll click give, and it'll link you to Planning Center or your giving option there. So we're going to go back. Okay, I don't need this little assistant guy. One thing I didn't see. So usually with buttons, especially if you're linking it to an outside page, you're able to have it open in a separate page right here. So, all right. So we have the give button and it's linked to planning.center. Click on this little spoke wheel here and it has an open a new page. And when you click on that, what that means is it's going to allow for your website to stay open while they click through to an outside website. So the best way I can explain it is just by showing you. So now that that's available, you click on give and it's going to open up a different tab for the Planning Center. Like I said, if you go through Planning Center, they're going to give you a link to your own specific giving page. And within that link, it'll pull you to a page where you'll be able to insert your logo and do all that sort of stuff. And it'll have very specific information on just your church. So it's not going to bring up a whole list. It'll bring up a specific giving page just for you. And so with all of that, you have a functioning church website. Let's go ahead and edit this footer information here. 1, 2, 3 Demo Street works. Okay. Sydney, Nova Scotia, because that's where it's at. 555 works. We're going to go ahead and delete the theme here. We don't need to know that. We're going to delete all this directional stuff. So when you have a bigger website, having a link to all the pages and everything at the bottom is extremely helpful, just to kind of help ease the navigation. For that, we don't really need it though. And we have some social links over here, but we're going to drop that down if we could below this information. And that way everything just kind of looks a little bit better, and you can insert your Facebook link and your Instagram or whatever other sort of social media that you may have, you could all add in there. But anyways, let's go ahead and look at this full screen. This is your new church website, which we have completed in about 40 minutes, which isn't bad at all. It looks great. You know, if I were to go to a church website that had this, I would not be overly harsh on what they have. It's fairly simple. It's to the point. It looks good, and it's better than nothing. And all of that included is there is a button to take them to a online giving source so they can continue to tithe and give their offerings, whether they're there or not in person. So there's all sorts of fun things that you could do through Squarespace, and there's definitely tons of stuff out there to make your website look spectacular, to really add personal touches to it, to really make it its own thing. But this right here gets the job done. It's quick. Look, it took me 40 minutes. I know I do this as a job, but in all honesty, it should not take you longer than an hour to be able just to fumble around with this. It might take you a little longer setting up your planning center, giving information, all that stuff, but you should have a website up within the day of starting it, especially if you're just doing a simple one-page website. If you run into any issues, feel free to reach out to us and reach out to me, and I'll be able to help you out. I'll get on a call, talk with you, talk you through it if you need it, send you a few emails of encouragement. Whatever you need from us, let us know. But we just wanted to show you how simple it is to get a website up and running through Squarespace for your church if you didn't have one, or if you have an old and outdated one that you just need something new so you can get giving onto it. So feel free to like us and subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a like on our Facebook page at Anthro Branding. It's going to be incredibly helpful. We also have a group on Facebook for normative sized church pastors. What that means is for church pastors of churches the size of 50 to about 200, it's specifically for you guys to learn, to encourage one another, to relieve stress, to do whatever you need to do to build a community around you of people who understand what you're going through. So again, like us on Facebook, like and subscribe to our videos on YouTube. And if you have any questions, reach out to us at anthrobranding.com, and we'd be glad to take care of you as soon as we can. So thank you for taking some time to watch this video.